John Lecoussier. I actually ventured out there into the French pronunciation. And he is joining us today from Adopt Technologies, and they do all things online services or cloud services. We're talking a little bit about over the break. John, if you could share a little bit about the history of Adopt Technologies, and then we're going to go into a little bit about cybersecurity and how it is that you guys have been able to move forward, and in particular, the paper and pencil. For those of you who are just joining us, we have advised everyone to grab a paper and a pencil or a pen, or since we're all talking about cloud stuff, run onto your online desktop and take some notes on Word. But we wanted to give some contact information for those of you who are not in the latest and greatest technology and are wondering exactly what does a remote hosted desktop do for you. You can go to the website at adopttechnologies.com. That's with two T's. So adopt, no space, but just adopt and another T for technologies.com. And if you wanted to email John, it's John L. at adopttechnologies.com. You can also reach the main phone number. Is that the best one? Okay, 480-422-6400. You can ask for John or for Brett. And also, if you wanted to drop by their office, they're located at 2414 East Paradise Lane, Suite 200 in Phoenix. So they're a Phoenix-based company, but because they're cloud-based, it doesn't matter if you're in New York, New Jersey, or happen to be listening to us in China. I know we have had a couple of people tune in from Sweden, and we really appreciate our Swedish listeners as well. So that's a nice thing about the cloud. It's a worldwide, global initiative. So, John, tell us a little bit about Adopt Technologies and what made Brett decide to establish this company and move forward at a time when the technology was changing.
Sure. We actually got a great story. Brett Helgeson is the principal of the company, and previously to moving over into the tech world, he owned Helgeson Construction, and for 16 years he was the owner of a construction company. He was kind of smart when he saw the downturn in the construction and was planning somewhat of an exit strategy, and realizing that his IT infrastructure was aging within his company. He didn't want to go out and have that large capital expenditure when he knew he was slowly ramping down. So Brett was actually a customer of our now current company that was under a previous name, and he was asking, what kind of cost-effective way can I continue forward without having to go out and purchase all this new equipment. And the owner at the time says, we've been working on this cloud process, and we'll put you on. And then from that point on, Brett saw the efficiencies just in not having to pay up for all the hardware, but all the Microsoft licensing was included. They got the remote connectivity of having guys that are out in the field being able to access the headquarters, and really just saw the efficiency of the cloud and really was able to see the direction of technology. And then as things evolved, Brett became more and more interested in the cloud, and actually the past owner wanted to go and do volunteer work in Africa with his wife.
Amazing.
Yeah, and was looking to move out of that business, and Brett actually ended up acquiring and purchasing and becoming the owner of which now is Adopt Technologies. They completely re-infrastructured our whole enterprise level system, so it is solely a cloud-based solution at this point. So he just kind of saw the value in it. He saw the direction of where technology was going, and he got in on a technical wave right on the beginning part of it. So it's a very exciting story.
That is amazing. So, and also obviously founded with the right intent from both sides, and so just a great origination of a company. I would have loved to have this product back around 2000. I actually established a mortgage company and had about 150 loan officers that were working for me. And these loan officers would, work on accounts. We'd buy them leads and all kinds of things. But we actually allowed them to bring their own laptop in. When they left, they also left with our clients. Yeah, exactly. And not only that, we had to have our own server, and they would connect into the server. And I just remember that we had to have a full-time IT guy to run that server, and it was constantly. things were just not what they should be, and everything was bottlenecking around that server. I just remember all the nightmares of having 150 people trying to get enough users in to access all the hosted software that we had there through the server, and when you could just put that all in the cloud. But one of the things that you know, back then, T1s were the first thing that, I mean, they got us out of the dial-up technology.
Yes.
So I was on cutting edge 1.54 megs of internet connectivity bandwidth, and I was truly cutting edge.
Yeah.
And I loved it. I was paying $1,200 a month for a T1 line, which is, I mean, I probably could, if I ever really shopped it, got it down to about, you know, $1,050. But you know, we had other things to do besides just shop price. And but the point is that we probably couldn't have used your technology before if we had to share 150 users accessing the information through the cloud and put our phone system on it. It just would not have worked. But in today's society, what has changed that has allowed and enabled this to occur?
Sure. And I still work with small companies who have that
Same situation.
Same situation where unfortunately they're kind of on the outskirts. They have a not very suitable internet connection, and actually the cloud is an answer for that. Just for the simple fact that when all the processing is being done at our data center, it's no longer having the process being done at a local level or essentially on somebody's laptop or desktop. So essentially it's the same thing where all of the processing is being done in the so-called cloud, and all it's doing, instead of transferring the information back and forth and really pinging a lot of that bandwidth, all it's doing is sending a small screenshot and the keystrokes. It's just really showing you an image. So a lot of these companies who are on these somewhat dismal internet connections actually have a very pleasant experience in the cloud because they're not pinging that bandwidth. So a lot of people find that the cloud isn't essentially an answer when it comes to having not the greatest internet connection.
So let's say that one of our listeners has 10 employees out there and they want to get into the cloud. How much, and if all 10 employees are on at the same time, how much bandwidth would that normally use?
Well, typically what we find is about 200, it's like a kilobyte, 200 kilobytes for a screenshot. So, and that's, you know, for every single one. And essentially we have never had any issues with, you know, people being able to ping that bandwidth. I actually am working with a client right now who has less than a 3 meg download, and they're running an office of 15 people.
Okay.
So with that, I mean, not being able to transfer all of that information back and forth, it's definitely a more pleasant experience.
Absolutely. So now I want to talk about what has allowed the cloud in general to change so much, and that is the evolution of bandwidth. That the T1 lines are, if you're on the T1 line, you need to call us at 480-296-1776, and you need to allow us to have our advertisers. It doesn't mean you have to go with them, but let us utilize our advertisers to bid out across multiple internet providers. You'll be surprised what kind of bandwidth you can find. For example, the person who referred John to me referred another company to me. It's all, you know, we're professional networking. If any of you are not aware, about 25% of our show is dedicated to professional networking. And so it's all about referring referral partners to each other. It's all about referring business to each other. It's just networking in general is a great thing to do. So that's how John and I arrived on the same scene, is by this particular person. I need to give him credit. His name is Kevin Burdick from Sprint. So, you know, obviously a great referral partner for us, and I want to thank him for putting John and I together, and also to thank him for putting Auction Systems and myself together. So when we went into Auction Systems, now I probably shouldn't have said the name. Now I'm going to give specifics, but just know this, that we were able, for the same price that we're getting ready to pay it was good bandwidth, but 6 megs down and 6 megs up. For that same price, when we were able to utilize our team, we came in there and were able to give them 10 megs down, 10 megs up on one connection, and 20 megs down and 2 megs up on another connection. So they had redundant connections, and we were able to get them 16 phones, all for the same price that we're getting ready to pay for just 6 megs down, 6 megs out. So you definitely want to give us a call, and again, that number to call us is 480-296-1776. And if you want to know if you have enough bandwidth, for the Adopt Technologies program, you would call John at 480-422-6400.
Correct.
All right, very good. So now, as far as now, I did this amazing overview of what we can do to help you, but the point is that between the different companies that are providing coax, between the different companies that are providing your fiber connections, Ethernet over copper is a product most of you probably have never heard about, but is available. That basically you combine a lot of pairs of copper wire, and then it allows you to have a lot of bandwidth. You can bond T1s together, though that gets quite expensive when you bond T1s together. So there's a lot of different ways to increase your bandwidth, including something that John and I are going to talk about a lot more off the air after the show, is what Google is doing. Google is only allowing, only providing this fiber connectivity. They're actually literally going to be providing bandwidth in terms of terabytes rather than megabytes. So and it's going to be extremely inexpensive, probably $80 a month for a terabyte of speed and bandwidth. That is just unheard of. It's ridiculous. When somebody asked Google, well, how are you going to make any money? They said that's not the point. We're enabling the cloud. So there's going to be another revolution in the cloud that comes where you won't even think about it. You will say, I just need to put everything in the cloud, and that's where you're going to be calling Adopt Technologies. So now tell us, we're going to end this segment. Looks like we have. It's time for break. Looks like on the next segment we are going to talk about cybersecurity and how we actually are able to utilize the cloud to make you more safe than you currently are. So don't go away. We'll be right back after the break. This is Kurt Wilhelm, the host of The Social Universe here on Voice America, joined by John from Adopt Technologies. Thanks for joining us.